Special Olympics British Columbia Coach Diary with Dr. Laura Ferris. Coaching at competitions.
Coaching at competitions, especially events that are near the end of your season, or maybe if you're taking them to the games or doing something on a bigger scale, they're very important elements of the season. And what you want to do is try and give the athletes and yourself the best chance to be at the best performance. And so what we want to look at is a few variables that we've talked about, but also look at how we put them together in preparation. So before the games even go, you can do a lot of prep before the competition. You want to identify the strengths and enable mental strategies that athletes already use. So this is where your knowledge of your athletes, you want to check in again with them. What are their preferred focus strategies? What are the things that they do that will help them feel confident going in? What helps them as far as emotion goes, and how you can help with that as a coach. And also checking in with the types of communication they prefer, asking them, what would you like me to say to you right before you go out there, or anything like that that gives you a better sense of maybe what the athlete needs and trying to meet that need at the competition. When you get to that major competition or a game situation, what you've got is what you've got, and you have to go with it. So what we're trying to do is maximize a little bit of structure to create opportunity for the athlete and yourself to perform without having to worry about a lot of other things that are going on. Another piece is to be able to set really clear goals. What would you like out of this experience? What do you want to try and get? And putting that kind of as a frame, because sometimes we may define a success by outcome, but often it can be about trying to get the most out of it effort-wise, energy-wise, experience-wise. And it's important to kind of define that, because then when you evaluate at the end, you have a process to come back and look at. Also understanding process versus outcome challenge and discussing that with the athletes and building a bit of confidence. What we want to do and why we can achieve that. It's a good time to go through some of the things that you've achieved throughout your season, throughout your time with them, and to give them some confidence as far as seeing that success and really celebrating that success before you go in. Anticipate and minimize any distractions. So depending on what the level of the competition is, think about what are some of the challenges. Again, once we have anticipated what something will be, it takes a lot of energy away from it and it allows us to be able to deal with it more effectively. We also have plans in place and ideas for how we're going to approach something, so there's not a lot of energy wasted on being or worrying about what that situation is. Once you get to the performance, and even before, outlining kind of a daily schedule or a schedule for the day or the couple of days or whatever the length of the competition is, so athletes know what's going on. Again, we come back to that idea of supporting motivation. Feeling like you have choice and control of your behavior. So really letting the athlete know what the day is going to look like, where they'll have opportunity for free time, where they'll be required to be with the team or be focused on what they're doing. So it gives them that outline and they don't have to worry about when am I going to do this or when are we going to be doing this. And it allows them just to focus their energy and relax because they know what's coming up next. Following the routines that you've set out. Sometimes people get to big competitions or a game situation and they think, I got to do something different. But the reality is you just need to do what you do and do it well. So follow the routines that you've set out already. Once you get there, establish what those routines will look like. What is the daily schedule? What does your competition focus plans look like? Refocusing plans. You don't want to be making major changes at this point. You're looking for comfort and confidence and readiness. So you want to make sure that you have those plans in place and that you're just really following through and sticking to the plan. When you get to a bigger situation or a competition situation, all the things are pretty much the same. What changes is the context. There's that old description about a man, if you put down a piece of wood and you ask him to walk across a 2x4, if you lie it on the ground, it's no problem. But if you raise that same piece of wood up into the air 30 feet and then ask him to walk across it again, things change. But the wood hasn't changed. The context has changed. And the same thing happens sometimes when we get to big competition. Our perception of what we need to do can change, but the reality of the task is similar to what we've been doing all the way along. So trust in the things that you do to get yourself ready. As a coach, as an athlete, in those situations, supporting athletes in that structure allows them to have the optimal performance or be in the best place to have that optimal performance. Recovery regeneration plans, nutrition, hydration, sleeping, exercise, fun activities. I've seen teams that have gone to situations where, major competitions, where they tried to be too serious. And the reality is that we play sport, we do activities for fun. At the end of the day, fun for a lot of people is also about performing well. So finding out what that balance is, but enjoying what's happening, taking that in, and then looking at how you manage that emotion and that energy, similar to what we talked about in the coach recovery section. There's a lot of power in routines and plans. And again, what it does is it defines a structure to ensure that opportunities for focusing and refocusing are there. It also defines the process as to how that will happen. And when you're under pressure and there's more things to think about, those routines become comfort. They become safe. And really, it's about allowing your body then to get into the right place, and your mind will go with it. The other thing about competition sometimes is be prepared for the unexpected. Revisit the vision. Be aware when things happen that you don't expect. And I don't think I've ever been to a major competition where something unexpected didn't happen. And that can range from an athlete getting quite sick to things happening at home. Things always come up. And sometimes they're within the environment and sometimes they're outside. But have a sense of how you want to deal with those things. Revisit the goals, focus on strengths and controllables, and then use the emotion to your advantage. The best thing you can do is try to keep athletes and yourself focused on what is controllable and reframe situations to how do we make this work. And then a really last important thing is really to trust, is to free your mind. And this is one of the hardest things to do, but it's actually simple too. Trust is about absence of expectation. It's really about just being in the moment and enjoying that. And you hear athletes say that a lot, but part of it is reminding yourself to find that balance between performance, enjoyment, and learning, and allowing that climate that you've created as a coach to inspire your athletes to be able to let go in that moment and to trust all the things that they've put into place. The final piece of this is the stuff we've talked about all the way along, is preparing yourself. Is reflecting on your experiences and knowing your triggers, having clear goals and plans for yourself as a coach when you go. Be true to your routines, have recovery regeneration plan, and focus on the controllables and learn from your experience. Ultimately being able to evaluate, was I effective? Was I not as effective as I wanted to be? And continuing that process again. What we want to do is we always want to be able to test. But it's not about trying to prove something. It's about trying to learn something to make us better. And when you go to a major competition or games, it is the best environment to learn about yourself as a coach and to learn about how you deal with pressure. So take those opportunities to reflect on what you did well and what you could improve on. And ultimately, next time, you'll be in a better place to perform at your best.